Rosa. Hopefully, your favorite real estate broker. All right. So, with that in mind, my friends, I want to, before you leave me, listen, this is an opportunity here for you to save thousands of dollars, right? This is no make believe stuff. This is honest, caring advice to help you get to where you want to be, to help you understand really what's going on in real estate, what's going on in the marketplace, what is it, what moves should you make or not make. So listen, right now, if you're a buyer or seller and you're thinking about making some moves in 2026, or you're not sure, maybe you are on the sideline, my friends, right? And of course, if you have comments as we're doing this, please add them so that I can answer them to the best of my ability and help you out, right? So, right now, the Fed and what they are doing or not doing matters more than people realize. All right. So the Federal Reserve is expected to leave rates unchanged. Now, that doesn't mean that nothing changes because the real value is in the message, my friends, not the move. Okay. So, what does that mean? Markets are listening closely to Jerome Powell for signs. Now, some of those signs is inflation coming down the line, right? Are rate hikes officially behind us? And are there fewer or more future cuts on the horizon? Even if they're going to take us more time, are they going to come down the line? So let's talk about what this means for you as a potential buyer, and let's talk about what this means for you as a potential seller. So how does this help buyers? Well, when the Fed's tone becomes calmer, mortgage rates don't usually drop overnight. They become less volatile. And that matters because volatility is what keeps buyers frozen. You see, with steadier rates over the long run, lenders can price loans more competitively, which is nice. Buyers can plan on what their payments are going to be with more confidence, which that's a nice thing. And sellers become more willing to negotiate. Now, if you are within 30, 40 miles from Hartford, you are like, oh my goodness, thank God. I am so happy that sellers may become more willing to negotiate. Now, of course, this isn't a promise, but this is telling you what will most likely happen. And that's when the buyers start gaining a little bit of leverage. So will buyers maybe gain a little bit of more leverage in Connecticut? We will see. It depends, of course, on what the Fed does. Now, as a buyer, you will and can negotiate price instead of fighting bidding wars. We are seeing a little bit less of bidding wars. I mean, if I compare last January to this January, I do think that there are less bidding wars going on. So that might be helpful for you. Maybe the buyers can ask for concessions or credits. So that's number two, right? Asking for seller credit, asking for the seller to pay for your buyer broker representation fee. That might be something that you can do. And as a buyer, you may be able to lock a rate knowing you can refinance later if rates drop further. So that's a good point too. And who doesn't love that as a buyer? So you see, smart buyers don't wait for the lowest rate because I can tell you, my friends, that's when it's almost too late. By the time you figure out, oh, this is the lowest rate it's going to be, which right now we are at the lowest rates within about the last 3 years. So this is a huge opportunity for you. Okay. So smart buyers don't wait until the end. They buy when competition seems to be lower, which now is a great time for that right now in January and February. And then they refinance when rates improve. So let's just say right now you were able to get one of these rates at 6% interest rate, which would be pretty darn good right about now. Okay. And you're nervous. You're like, oh, should I wait till it's 5%? Well, it could be 5% next year, 2027, which seems really weird to say that. It could be 5% 2028 or 2030 or 2040. You see, you don't know. And to get down to 5% would be pretty darn good for buyers, but it doesn't happen often. You see, we did have those few years of those low interest rates, but you know why that happened in 2020. We don't have to go down that road. That is old news, my friends. Okay. But right now, what the Fed is telling you is, hey, everything seems like it's matching the economy. The rates are matching the economy. Now, we just talked about how this helps out buyers and how this saves you as a buyer a lot of money. Well, let's also talk about how right now is helping sellers. You see, stable rates, which we have them stable right about now. There's no volatility. There's nothing to be worried about at this very moment, right? It seems weird to say that there's nothing to be worried about, but at this very moment, it doesn't seem like rates are going to go really high or rates are going to go really low. They seem to be stable, and stable rates bring better buyers. They bring buyers that are understand what is going on with their payment, right? And when these rates they're not swinging back and forth, buyers feel safer making decisions, and that helps out sellers. Lenders approve loans with fewer surprises. So that is a great opportunity for sellers because we don't want surprises. If you're a business person, which I know a lot of you are that watch me, and I definitely appreciate that, you know that you do not want surprises, my friends. Okay. And deals or transactions fall apart less often when rates are not swinging back and forth. So that's important for you to know. So that means that we have stronger offers, we have fewer price reductions, and we have cleaner closings. So who doesn't like that? Right? So of course, if you feel like you're getting good information here, if you feel that it's helpful, then please like and share. Of course, that's always important and that helps us. Now, sellers who list during periods of stability, they often face less chaos. Love it. Less pushback than those who are waiting for this perfect rate environment that may never show up, my friends. And that's the big thing. You see, there's a lot of misunderstandings when it comes to rates. All right. So with that in mind, let's talk about the number one big misunderstanding. Most people think the market changes when rates drop. In reality, that's not true. The market changes when fear drops, when there's less fear. And the Fed, the Federal Reserve, their messaging is one of the biggest fear reducers that there is. That's why the shift happens quietly before the headlines say it's safe. The people who understand this, they act early. You see, everyone else competes later. You don't want to be that person that's competing later. You want to act early. All right. So if you want to know how this timing is affecting your buying power, maybe your equity, if you're a homeowner, a property owner, or even your next move, pay attention now, right? Look at what's going on in the marketplace. Maybe begin to make that move because it's a stable environment. It will help you. This is how opportunity opens. It opens before it becomes obvious. You see, my friends, it opens before it becomes obvious. All right. So, with that in mind, let's just kind of go through a quick summary of what I spoke about because I want to make sure that there's no confusion and I want to give everyone an opportunity that if you have comments, let me know. All right. So, if you're waiting on mortgage rates before you buy or sell, this is very important information for you to have. The Federal Reserve is expected to hold rates steady, and that is not the headline. The real advantage is in what Jerome Powell signals about inflation and the future. Now, here's what most people don't know. Mortgage rates don't wait for official cuts. They move on expectations and confidence. When the Fed sounds more confident that inflation is cooling, then rates become less volatile. Buyers gain negotiating power, right? And sellers see stronger, more confident buyers. Like I spoke about earlier, for buyers, that means less competition and calmer rates equals more leverage. So this is a beautiful time, my friend. You negotiate price today and you can refinance later. For sellers, stable rates reduce fear. Less fear equals fewer price cuts and cleaner transactions. What's the biggest mistake that you can make? And here's what I'm here to share with you is waiting for a dramatic rate drop that may never come all at once or even at all. Okay. So real estate moves before the headlines, before the curve, not after them. The smartest move is understanding the shift before the crowd feels it, before the regular people feel it. So pay attention now, my friends. This window doesn't stay open long. This is Rob Rosa. Hopefully, your favorite real estate broker. And we'll talk to you soon. God bless you and have a great day.